Gemini, happy full moon in Aries. Please slow down a little bit. You're literally in the middle of waking up. You're in the midst of it. So slow down. Take a breath. Breathe a little bit. Got my human pants on. I'm waitressing tonight, so it's going to be a good time. Won't be waitressing on this full moon. Absolutely not. But I want to highlight for you, Gem, and the grid is for Gemini rising, but this entire reading can always be watched by Gemini sun as well as Gemini moon to get the vibrations of it. But, you know, this full moon is happening up here in your house of community, friendships, and wishes of the future. The sun in the sky is in Libra, in your 5th house of creativity, play, romance, childlike spirits, kiddos, if you want those things. So the entire season, if you are partnered and you're keen to expand the family, I'd say wait until we have the new moon eclipse coming up. It's just absolute incredible energy coming up in a few weeks for that. So wait if we're trying to make a baby, because right now, if you know nothing of astrology, my darling, absolutely nothing of astrology, you can see that there's a split between these planets up here, these planets over here. You know what I mean? It's like very opposite. And so please go back and watch the Libra season introductory video as well as the full moon introductory video. It's volatile energy. It's like fuck around and find out energy. It's a lot, Gem. It's a lot. So this, to me, the image that just popped into my head is, you know, the image that's popping into my head is, you know, I'm thinking of the parable of when you see someone who's sleepwalking, you're not supposed to wake them up. And the image of like the Step Brothers movie is what popped into my brain, because that's what my human avatar's brain thinks of in those moments. But so think of yourself, your human being. And this is a little bit of the description of like, you're not this human avatar. I always talk about like my human avatar, my meat suit Sarah, but that's the same for you. We are not these human beings. We are the awareness, the observer, the consciousness that's running the meat suit. I think of it as just like this electrical wire that's plugged into the human, makes it look all sorts of ways. You know, the perfect analogy that I can give to you is, have you ever said like, oh, I just got so mad at myself for doing that? Who's the you in the you? You're getting mad at your human for acting out of their meat suit reptilian brain and doing things unconsciously, where you are the consciousness running the avatar, putting it forward, stuff like that. And for you, Gemini, you've got 2 brains anyway, so this is a lot of brain. But so you're just waking up. You're becoming a butterfly. You're in the middle of the cocoon. You're half goo, half butterfly. And right now, your awareness is aware that you're aware, and you're trying to poke through the cocoon, or you're trying to wake up your sleepwalking self. You're trying to speed up the process, Gemini, is basically what I'm seeing here. I want to have fun. I want to do the things. I want to be out, having my soul purpose. Retrograde. I want to be doing all of these things. Don't. You don't have to. You can trust. You can move slowly. You can, you know, Venus is now direct. It was retrograde in your house of communication. Is there something that you have to say? Just one thing. Some of you have to apologize for something. And it's actually karmic. Ooh, we've got Lilith, honest to goodness, at like 29 degrees over here. I have a whole video on Lilith. Definitely go check that out. But like, and this is also, you know, the stages of going through like AA after you go through like rehabilitation, you've gone through your buttonhole. If it's safe to apologize, that's when you apologize. If it's not safe or conducive for either of your growth, don't apologize. This is really beautiful, Gemini sun. There was one time we were waitressing together, and like this ship never slows down. This processing does not stop. So we had this private party, and you know, we were just like giving incredible fine dining service. And at the time, there was another staff member that was completely triggering my human avatar. So I just turned to this Gemini sun and I go, I'm getting completely triggered. In the middle of this, like the table behind me is eating. Like there's like there's like 24 people having a fine dining rehearsal dinner, if you will. And I just turn around to my co-waiter and I go, I'm having this intense process and I wanted to ask you what you think I should do. Should I go up to this person, this coworker, and say, you are triggering the fuck out of me, or do I keep that in? And she's an absolute dear, and she just processed for a moment. And she goes, If it is helpful for both of you, if it is growth for both of you, then go say it. If this is just something that's happening just to Sarah the avatar, then don't engage. Then process on your own, go through that unpacking. And that's why, like, sometimes the unconscious beings, she's not unconscious, the person that we were discussing, she's a dear old friend. But like, if that person is unaware that you are experiencing a reaction because of their energy, that's a fucking you problem. That has nothing to do with them. So Gem, that was like a whole big old thing just to say that don't judge yourself for where you are. It's almost like you're saying, like, okay, I am floating above my human avatar and I'm saying, oh my God, Gem, get your shit together. We have to do this. We have soul purpose things. We have so many things that we have to do, but we're stuck in the mud. Be stuck in the mud. If you're stuck in the mud, you're stuck in the mud. There's nothing that you can say to rationalize it, justify. Like, it can be, oh, I got stuck in the mud because of this, and so you're stuck in the mud. You're in the middle of your waking up. You're half in one world, half in the other. Call Pisces. They live in that reality. So I don't want this intensity of the air season to trine and to fuck your face up. Like, don't run from the work that is on your plate. Don't run from it. Whatever's right in front of you right now, you're still waking up. Slow down. Slow down. It's just, what's popping into my brain is I don't want you to be half awake, half asleep, and listen to anyone that says, oh, this is somewhat spiritual, so do it. This is somewhat woo-woo, so do it. This is, oh, if you do this, it'll make your whole growth efficient and stuff like that. Like, really, genuinely sink into a very, very deep knowing, Gemini. I want you doing belly breaths. I want you expanded right now. This is air and fire. This is spark plug fucking energy. This is volatile energy. Please, you don't let all the work that you've done in your life, in this, like, the Venus retrograde and the Mercury retrograde and the Mars retrograde. We had Mars retrograde all last year in your fucking sign. Was it last year or was it 2021? I think it was 2022 going to 2023. We had Mars retrograde in your sign. That was intense. Like, Mars is not doing a retrograde for the rest of 2023 because of that. Like, we're good. You went through the thick of shit. You've been through enough. Don't go back. Oh, the image that I got, and it's you, Gem, so I can say it, is like somebody coming up to you and just like, oh, you're enlightened? Do you just want to do some cocaine and it'll make it a little bit quicker? And you're like, fuck yeah, if it's going to make my awakening quicker, I'll do that. No, that's a solid no. Don't do that. Don't do that. There is... I'm slowing down so I can find the right words to tell you. Find the healer that is of a vibration that you absolutely resonate with and listen to them. And then when they stop resonating with you, you'll find another. But take time to even understand what resonating means. Listen to your vibration and how your body reacts around other people. If you start to turn yourself into a sideshow act, remember you're not a joke. If someone makes you act like a dancing monkey, don't give them your focus anymore. And that's what my guides have to say about that. Yeah. In a few weeks, like I said, we're going to have a new moon coming up. It's an eclipse portal, so it's going to be like as woo-woo can be. But just based on the astrology, that would be a great time for Gemini rising to be talking about possibly procreating if you're interested in those things, just based on the astrology alone. But we can talk about that later. And if anyone is ever interested in a personalized chart reading, I'm going to hopefully have my natal chart reading done before this full moon. Actually, I might do that now because I want you to see how specific my readings are and how quickly I work, because these are general whole sign, 0 to 29 readings. Whereas, like, for example, my chart, starts, like my ascendant is at 12 degrees of Scorpio. I go by the specificities of it because that's what resonates with me. I know I can do a whole sign chart for myself. I can do all these. We can do a this chart. We can do a that chart. We can do a this chart. Like that's, I just do what resonates with me, and I trust that. It's literally infinity upon infinity upon infinity. I could talk about just the transits of Venus alone. I could talk about just the transits of Pluto, just the transits of Jupiter and how that's affecting you. It's infinity upon infinity. So to pack a, like a reading in for Gem with a capital G, like the energy of Gem. Does that make sense to you? If not, call me and we can chit chat. But I believe in you. Just slow the fuck down, girl. You got this.